We love Canada.
Yep.
That's all.
To Trump with the tariffs, you guys. Buy from somebody else. Punish him for being an idiot. Thank you, Canada. We love you.
You know, it is encouraging to hear people from the United States say this. And I know there's a lot of them. And some of them follow my channel, a Canadian YouTuber. But unfortunately, there are a lot of US citizens that are like this guy.
If you live in Alberta, I support you.
Oh, Alberta separation.
A lot of us down here refer to them as Snow Texas. They share a lot of the common values that I would associate with American values.
So if you're from Alberta and you're listening to this, what are your thoughts right now? Do you like being called Snow Texas, and do you share the same values as this guy? I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that. But CBC went down to the United States and got feedback from both sides, and I wanted to share it with everyone on my channel. I also wanted to discuss a report out of Denmark. We have a lot of Europeans in the community now, and they have supported Canada since the beginning. So I think it's time for us, Canadians, to learn what's going on in Europe and how they feel about the whole situation. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can hear the thunderstorm in the background. It just started probably about half an hour ago, and I'm hoping it should be over soon. But that also means the co-host is hiding somewhere, so I don't know if she'll make an appearance today. The backdrop we're looking at today comes from CanConWin88 from our Discord server, who took this photo from Loggy Bay in Newfoundland and Labrador. I appreciate you posting this in the Discord server and sharing it with the community. Now, if this is the first time you're clicking on my videos and you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, with no US bias, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Okay, let's get started with the first report out of CBC.
Before he got in office, all those criminals coming in here, he closed the border.
I love my country, and I hate what is happening to it.
He's a grifter, liar, manipulator.
Seeing the treatment of American citizens is concerning.
He's the best one we've had since Ronald Reagan.
We came to North Carolina to visit some small and rural communities considered Trump country to get a better sense of how the president's supporters are feeling.
I think he's doing all right.
I think he's doing a great job. I think he's listening to the people, and I think he does what the people say.
Well, the Orange McNugget did say that he loves the poorly educated people. So I think it's kind of showing. I'm not here to make fun of these people, but I am showing this to show how big the divide is in the United States. And this is just a small sample of the 77 million that voted in all of the chaos that we're experiencing now.
So how do Donald Trump supporters feel about his handling of controversial issues? Let's start with immigration.
I don't think anybody wishes that anyone would have been killed, but the reality is that there's that situation that is developing in Minneapolis where ICE is trying to conduct their lawful duties. They have to do that. It's not optional for them.
The protesters are just idiots. I hate people get killed, but if you act like a fool, you get treated like a fool.
Those people were in these groups that were taught to go out and harass the ICE people. I mean, they're helping their communities be safer by getting those people out.
Oh, he's doing a fine job. He had to come in and straighten out a lot of mess.
Is there anything that stands out to you that you like most about what he's doing?
I like the fact that he can't be controlled.
It's kind of ironic because what's happening right now is that he's being controlled by the Orange McNugget. Controlled into believing what to say, what to think, and being brainwashed into thinking that everything is okay right now. I know it was tough to listen to these people. I mean, it was frustrating for me. But unfortunately, this is a big population of the United States that still believes this.
When it comes to Canada, voters here view Trump's threats as a joke, and some are even aware of the Alberta separation movement. What do you think about how Trump has talked about Canada?
I think it's funny. I think he's doing it to get a reaction out of people. If you live in Alberta, I support you.
Oh, Alberta separation.
A lot of us down here refer to them as Snow Texas. They share a lot of the common values that I would associate with American values. Whether they want to be an independent state or if they wanted to join the Union, then I would be cool with that.
Okay, so again, I asked my Alberta viewers, what do you guys think about this? When it comes to the Alberta separation movement, we know 100% that there's interference coming from the US government. And the fact that this guy knows about it in North Carolina tells me that the interference is not just coming from the US administration. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, don't give the Alberta separatists any attention. They're not worth it. But sweeping things under the rug and keeping it out of sight, out of mind, is not going to fix the problem. Because to be honest, in my opinion, that's exactly what happened in 2016 when the Orange McNugget first got into the office. As much as it pains me to say this, in 2016, I had a feeling that he would actually win, to the point where I actually bet my coworker $100. And I said, Orange McNugget is going to win. And why was I so confident on that bet? Is because I saw all the chatter going on. And the right, they were very loud. The left, they were silent. From my observation, it was pretty clear that there was support on the right, and there was nothing I saw that would counter that. So when he won in 2016, I was not surprised at all. So this is why I feel that whether it's the rhetoric coming from the South or the separation people in Alberta getting louder, we need to push back.
Voters here who support Democrats tell us with everything that's gone on so far this year, it's only hardened their opposition.
It's very depressing and concerning, especially with all the corruption and the disgusting people he's pardoned.
We love Canada.
Yep.
That's all.
To Trump with the tariffs, you guys. Buy from somebody else. Punish him for being an idiot. Thank you, Canada. We love you.
I never expected this, right? It's terrifying. You read about this stuff, you learn about it. It's part of history.
When does the time come that we rise up? We're looking at things that are happening in Minneapolis and Minnesota and around the country with ICE and the thuggishness and what I perceive to be nation fascism. Now, am I on the cusp of arming myself and rising up? No. But the fact that I asked the question is horrifying.
Well, it's definitely horrifying. But the question that you have actually is valid. When are people going to rise up? Because at some point, something has to happen. Because we're 1 year into this now. Well, just over a year. People are dying. A lot of people are saying thoughts and prayers. And Democrats, they continue to send letters. Now, I agree with this guy. I'm not asking him to arm up and start a protest with weapons involved. That's just going to go really bad. The citizens really need to rally up. And what I'm talking about are the citizens who are too apathetic about everything that's going on right now. Not enough people care, in my opinion. You're not going to win a battle with 2% of your population being the resistance. If it's at 50%, you might have a chance. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me on this or not. Now, moving on. I want to talk about what's going on in Denmark. Because if there's any other nations in the world that should be just as pissed off as Canadians, it's Greenland and Denmark. Let's take a look at this report out of DW Network.
In Denmark, for example, high-ranking officials like retired General Christian Wied feel betrayed by Trump's dismissal of Danish involvement in NATO's Afghanistan mission.
U.S. President Donald Trump has alienated allies in many ways, but his attacks on Denmark have been particularly harsh, threatening to invade Greenland and saying NATO countries, including Denmark, didn't step up in Afghanistan, have tested the patience of one of Washington's longtime partners.
That's a stab in the back.
Denmark, a country of just over 6 million people in northwestern Europe, was one of a dozen countries which created NATO in 1949 in Washington, D.C. Danish Air Force General Christian Wied spent his entire military career shoulder to shoulder with American counterparts. And as Denmark's then chief of defense, he personally sent Danish troops to back up the U.S. when it went to war in Afghanistan 3 months after 9/11.
I can see why our viewers from Denmark are so pissed off about what's going on right now. And so should all other NATO citizens who sent in military personnel to support the war that the United States started. I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know very much when it comes to what other countries also contributed to the Afghan war. I'm starting to learn myself. But I want to use this opportunity to show my viewers how other countries are viewing the United States right now. Guard the Leaf is primarily a Canadian channel, but I do support my allies as well.
So when Trump criticized NATO countries as staying off the front lines in that war, General Wied was outraged.
That's a stab in the back, simply because that's a lie. We were there from day one. I was with our Prime Minister at Air Station Aalborg, saying farewell to our Special Operations troops from the Army and our SEALs from the Navy. We were there.
44 of them never came back, the highest number per capita of any country other than the U.S. In reaction to Trump's comments, citizens placed 44 flags, each bearing the name of a fallen service member, in front of the U.S. Embassy in Copenhagen, but the embassy removed them. That was too much for the retired general. Wied, along with many other former service members, decided to take to the streets of Copenhagen in late January.
I have never been in a demonstration before in my life. I'm 83 years old. I have never been to an event like this, but it just felt so natural.
You know, we're living in really stressful, intense times now, and it's so unpredictable in terms of what's going to go on. I mean, I wake up every morning and see if anything happened overnight that the U.S. administration has screwed up. But what I'm noticing right now is that we are getting more and more people getting outside of their comfort zone, like this former general who went to a protest for the first time, or this US citizen who also went for the first time because he couldn't stand what was going on anymore. So we are now starting to see more and more global citizens taking the next step up to do their part. I mean, hell, I created a YouTube channel. Never thought it would take off, but somehow it did. I'm pretty sure it's the cat. But either way, I'm pretty confident that the global community will continue to do what it needs to do to stand up against the US administration. And our main thing is the boycott. But my question is within the United States. Will we start to see more US citizens stand up like this guy and say he's had enough and he's going to go out and make a difference? Or are we going to get US citizens continuing to sit on the sofa and watch sports and continue with the attitude that if it doesn't affect me, I don't care?
And of course, with the incident of the insult, you could say, removing flags in front of the American embassy, it was not only now support from a narrow group of veterans, it was support from all of Denmark.
He was joined by an estimated 10,000 other people, a huge turnout by Danish standards. That day, the marchers replaced the memorial flags, but goodwill isn't so easily restored.
Now, I apologize to my Danish viewers because I did see this story, but it was just so much stuff going on that I overlooked it. But the fact that the US government took them down clearly shows that they have zero respect for anyone that participated with them in the Afghan war. But I'm glad the Danish citizens put the flags back up because it is going to send a message that we're not going to be bullied. And when I say we, I mean the rest of the world.
That there has already been a lot of soul searching among Danish veterans after the collapse of the Afghanistan mission. Lots of veterans being really frustrated about the whole thing, that they went there, some of their comrades were killed, some of them are maimed for life, and they had this feeling that it was all for nothing. So, and then Trump's on top of that basically says that Denmark didn't do a thing.
I think every ally that participated in the Afghan war can relate to this. Now, I've never served in the military myself, but I do have friends that have. But I can feel their pain when it comes to betrayal, ignorance, and arrogance. I mean, we're talking about a country that thinks they single-handedly won World War I and World War II. And what's scary is that their citizens actually believe it. I guess we can thank their education and Hollywood for that. But for my Danish viewers, if you're feeling a sense of betrayal, ignorance, and arrogance, it's 100% justified.
But it's not just those who have served who are affected by tension in the US-Danish relationship. It's also those who will take their places. Partially in response to Trump's repeated threats to take Greenland by force if necessary, coupled with an official assessment that the US could no longer be counted on if Russia attacked, Denmark has almost tripled the length of mandatory military service, from 4 to 11 months, a move expected to add thousands of better-trained soldiers to its ranks within a few years. The first class of new conscripts, all of whom joined voluntarily, just started training.
Now, here's a question for the Canadians. Would you drop everything you're doing to protect your country? Now, I've already told my wife that if shit really hits the fan, I'm on the first plane back to Vancouver. And I'm not just saying that either, because I've already planned it out in terms of what I need to hand off for work and what I need to do in case I do need to take a leave of absence or even relocate back to Canada. All of this has always been playing in my head. But these Danish citizens that we're looking at right now, I am proud of them for stepping up for their country. And I do hope the same happens for Canada as well.
23-year-old Sebastian Hedegaard says he's excited about his future, but also realistic about its risks.
What do you think will be the scariest thing that you'll face?
Well, it's obviously going to war is a big part, but maybe it won't happen. Maybe it will. We'll take it one day at a time.
Do you think it's closer than it was a year ago?
Yes. A little bit, maybe.
That's scary?
Yeah.
Because of the Americans or the Russians?
In the entire world. Just in the state we're in.
Now, I can totally understand. Europe has Russia to worry about, but we have the United States. But realistically, we should be focusing on the entire world, just like what this guy said. Because you never know who the Orange McNugget is going to align with.
But General Wietz says he's not giving up on the relationship yet.
Yes, we got stabbed in the back, but we have so many friends in the US. My hope, of course, is that one man cannot, or two or three, cannot disrupt this forever. So that's my hope, we will get together one day very closely. That's my hope, and I'm sure that will happen.
Now, he might be a little bit more optimistic than I am, because I don't believe it's just going to be 1 or 2 people that's screwing this up. It's 77 million, plus those that didn't vote. Because what's happening right now is the disrespect from MAGA is happening every single day. But I do hope one day things get back to a decent level between Canada and the US. But in my opinion, the US needs to care for itself before I start caring for them again. But one thing I do know moving forward, until the day I die, I will always be cautious when it comes to the United States, and I will also never forget. If you found any value or agree with anything I said in this video, and you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below so you're notified of my future videos. Thanks everyone. I'll talk to you later.